Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. We got a little bit of a small crew tonight, but we're going to be bringing you guys some more Hawks and Braves content. The Hawks, fresh off a 118 to 113 win against the Pistons on Wednesday, coming back to Little Caesars Arena and facing the Pistons again tonight on their home turf. So hopefully we can make it a sweep in this playoff series type format that the NBA is trying this year. And we're also going to speak about previewing tonight's matchup against the Pistons and what will be key for the Hawks in making adjustments. As far as Braves talk, we're going to be discussing about Spencer Strider being named the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. That's not the official Rookie of the Year, but definitely congrats to Spencer Strider. And then also going to be talking about the recent report that Mark Bowman put out saying that the Braves unsuccessfully tried to trade Marcell Ozuna for Patrick Corbin during the trade deadline. Well, we got Roundtable Sports with me tonight. I'm going to let him get off his preview thoughts about the show. And without further ado, let's get on to it.
How y'all doing, man? Joshua, a.k.a. Roundtable Sports, here with Mikey. And, I was real pleased with how Wednesday went, especially fighting back after how it started off. We could have easily have given up and tucked our tails, but kept fighting, played defense, and really locked down in the second half.
Yeah, that second half really was a key for the Hawks, especially what I noticed was Clint Capella, man. After a rough first half, he finished with as a team high plus 22, and in that fourth quarter really altered a lot of shots, came away with 4 blocks, and he really set the tone as far as how the Hawks would close the second half. The Hawks defense really showed up, only allowing 24 points in that fourth quarter, and Clint Capella, I thought, spearheaded that comeback.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, John Collins added his signature, that hustle, the effort that he shows every night that we've come to love John Collins for in Atlanta. He really showed that with late in the shot clock, he had a turnover, unfortunately, on the offensive end. And what we'll see in a video here is John Collins and his hustle came back with a huge chase down block on Cade in the final few minutes of the game. Really a momentum play, cementing the victory for the Hawks. So as we see this block here,
lost in the lane. Cade racing the other way to the rim, blocked from behind by Collins.
I saw Collins.
So as we see there, Collins, I don't know if we saw it in the beginning of the video, but Collins had a turnover, lost it in the lane, and Cade took it all. Cade tried to take it all the way, but JC was there to get the chase down block, and that type of play is just who embodies who John Collins is every night on the floor. He might not be shooting well, might not be playing well, but he's gonna give that effort all the time on the floor. What do you think about that play, Joshua?
Yeah, I really feel like that's the type of person, like you were saying, that he is easily, once again, could have given it up once you turned over, because you have certain players that they turn over, don't get a foul call, and you throw your hands up, and you start feeling yourself and getting embodied with the fact that you didn't get a call or it didn't go your way. He turned right back around and hustled and blocked it, and it turned right back into some offense on the other end quickly.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And I love the pace the Hawks are playing at to begin this season. For the first 2 games on the homestand, we had 28 points and 26 fast break points respectively. And after being last in fast break points last year, we're off to a great start in terms of getting more possessions, easier buckets, and a lot of that is because of the guys we have now in the passing lanes like Aaron Holiday, Justin Holiday, and especially Dejounte Murray, who's now leading the league in steals. It really impressed me how Dejounte, his IQ, it's really similar to what we saw with DeLon Wright last year for the Hawks off the bench, with as if you can't really get a pass by Dejounte. He's going to read you before you make that pass.
Yeah, for sure. You led the league in steals last year. It's just continuing, and hopefully it's contagious and rubs off on Trae, which that's one of his weaknesses. But at the same time, I'm starting to see early in the season of him stepping up and actually stepping over screens and putting his body in the way to kind of disrupt the passing lanes and things of that nature. So I'm starting to see how it's going on. The other players are feeding off of his energy.
Yeah, I really like Trae so far. His effort on the defensive end. You know, he's gonna get hurt by a back cut, here or there, or forget a defensive rotation. And a lot of those actually led to Bojan Bogdanovic's big performance against the Hawks on Wednesday. He put up 33 points with 6 triples, shooting 50% from the arc, or from behind the arc. And while Bogdanovich really has had a great start to the season. He's shooting over 50% for the season on threes, which is leading the league for how many attempts he puts up. There's no reason that Bogdanovich should be open as much as he was on Wednesday. And a lot of those, unfortunately, were from defensive lapses from Trae. It'll be interesting to see how the Hawks make those adjustments for the game tonight. What do you want to see in terms of the off-ball defense for Bogdanovich tonight?
It has to be more communicating, more stepping up and getting more in his face. I've seen a lot to where the Hawks might give a little bit too much space. Say he's 2 to 3 feet behind the 3-point line, and now our defender is 2 to 3 feet inside of the 3-point line. That's too much. They can't give a shooter like that much space. They don't need but this much room, and then shots up and good. And you say he hit just 6. I thought I saw more than that in the 5 minutes I watched. Because every time he was stepping around the screen, he was hitting it.
Yeah, he went
especially that 4-point play. That's really what almost killed it. But
that was
just get closer and more, like I said, more communication.
Yeah, communication is definitely key. I remember there was 1 3. I tried to find it actually before our show tonight, but I wasn't able to. Where Bojan, they set a pin down screen for him, and he ran around to the far corner, and John Collins and Trae got mixed up communicating with the screen and left Bogdanovich wide open. So that's that type of communication that you were talking about, which would really need to be key tonight. I wonder if we switch more on those screens with Bogdanovich, because it'll be really interesting to see, because another dynamic that the Hawks actually didn't have to game plan for on Wednesday was Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey did not play in the game. The young athletic guard from Purdue for the Pistons, and he could really bring another dynamic to their game. So it'll be interesting to see who Trae matches up with tonight. I don't think he can defend Ivey. I think we'd have DeAndre Hunter on Cade, Dejounte on Ivey, and then maybe we put Trae on Bogdanovich again. But that then that's liable for Bogdanovich to go off and have a big night against us. So it's going to be really tough to match up against the Pistons if Jaden Ivey plays tonight.
Yeah, that's true. I even missed that he was even supposed to be, or that he didn't play.
Yeah, and it was funny because Cade Cunningham has actually had a rough start to the season, and without Ivey on the court, he took 25 shots. Bogdanovich was second with 21, and then the next highest, Saddiq Bey with 11 field goal attempts. So with Cade, he had his best performance of the season by far last night with 26, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, added two blocks and a steal too. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham if they both play tonight. But I wanted back to the Hawks. I really wanted to focus on Trey Young's performance from Wednesday. Really, this was the first game in which we saw the all-star Trey Young come out. The efficient shooting, the deep threes, driving into the paint, 16 of 17 from the free throw line. I mean, if we pull up the box score here, we can see that really Trey Young dominated in all facets of this game. Only 1 turnover. So he really had that first all-star game that we've seen from Trey this year. So that's a great sign moving forward. Or hopefully he can have a repeat performance tonight. What did you see from Trey that really allowed him to have this great performance compared to some subpar performances for Trey's standards in his first 3 games?
Yeah, it's the first of many, because you're going to get games like that. He can have a point in time when he goes on the stretch run and can pop off 30 in a week. Every game that we play that week, he can do it. I feel like he thought that he had to do it, or that he knew he had to do it because of how Dejounte's game was off. This is one of the first games where he wasn't really on, but the defense stayed where it was. And in basketball, or how the basketball that we're playing, the defense is turning the offense this season early on. So, quick scores and getting Trae hot, that's the type of player that he is. Once he sees one goes in, it can be a bad night for the opposing team.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I really like the fact that you brought up how, Dejounte, while he didn't have the best night, if we look here, shooting a really inefficient 5 for 18, 2 for 6 from 3 is encouraging. But 2 turnovers, 14 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. So he's contributing across the board, even if the shots aren't going in. So that's really encouraging. Dejounte, I wanted to harp on that point, though, because it really seemed like Dejounte at first had great chemistry, especially with Onyeka Okongwu. He was making that pocket bounce pass off the pick and roll. Seemed like effortless. He really wasn't hesitating. But the last game, the handle for Dejounte, his ball handling looked a bit shaky, and he was a little bit hesitant, I thought, on the pick and roll, especially with Okongwu. I don't really know what the difference was, if the Pistons were playing a different scheme. I know Jalen Duren really had an effect on this game off the bench for the Pistons. He was really good against Onyeka, as Okongwu, like I said, at a -19. Duren, who's the youngest player in the league at 18 years old, he 7 foot, finished in 21 minutes with 7 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. So he had a great impact in his limited minutes. I wonder if the Pistons were just playing a scheme where they would just denying that role completely and making Dejounte a scorer, and he had a bad night. Hopefully this is just an anomaly type of night, especially with the ball handling. But it was weird to see, especially because the first 2 games, it really seemed like he had a seamless chemistry with Onyeka, and also a better grip for the ball handling.
Yeah, it exactly seems that way. One play I do remember, I can't remember which quarter it was, but I do remember we got a steal, and Dejounte's going down the court. It's a 2-on-1 for them. They had 2 just against Dejounte, and he tried to cross the ball over and it hit against his knee, and then he started looking like he's tripping over his own feet. I'm just like, nah, that didn't look like him. But like I said, it didn't stop how he was playing defensively wise. But I understand what you mean about the ball handling wasn't there for the night, and you're gonna have those. It's a long season, 82 games. It's something where you can have a stretch where you're not on for a good little bit, and you just fight through that and continue to play through those type of miscues. But it didn't affect him, like I said, defensively, where we still need him, and still mess around and almost slip into a triple-double.
Yeah, that's a bad night to almost a triple-double.
Yeah.
He's always
I still take those.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's always going to fill up that stat sheet. That's what he's done throughout his career, so that's awesome to see. And John Collins quietly had a great night. 19 points, 11 boards on efficient shooting, 9 of 14. Misses only 3, but 19 and 11, and 4 blocks from John Collins. That's something I really want to harp on too, because his defensive help side rim protection this year and at the end of last year has been incredible. Like, he's really cemented himself these first 4 games as a great rim protector, and which a lot of people didn't really see from JC, or didn't think that he could develop that part of a game. I think that John Collins and Clint Capella might be the 2 best power forward. No, it's probably the 2nd best in the National League in terms. I mean, in the not the National League, in the Eastern Conference. But I got my Braves, the Hawks mixed up there. But 2nd in the Eastern Conference behind leading shot blocker in the league, Brook Lopez now, and Giannis, obviously. So yeah. I think they can reach that on the pace that they're going. Capella and Collins can reach that 2nd place. So that's really helped the Hawks. Again, those live ball turnovers and those momentum plays, getting out of the fast break like you touched on, Joshua, and creating easy offense. And Nate McMillan, he's gotten a lot of hate for not playing AJ Griffin. And while we do need more shooting before Bogdanović comes back, Justin Holiday and Aaron Holiday have contributed on the defensive end. The shooting's not there for Justin specifically yet, but he's a career mid-30s three-point shooter. So once he averages that out, it'll be better, and I think people will start to realize he's had both Holidays have had roles on contending teams in the past. It's not like they've been role players for tanky teams like Justin Holiday while he was on the Kings. Obviously, but he played for the Warriors. Aaron Holiday, backup point guard for the Suns when they made their finals run. So we've really seen that they can contribute to winning. So hopefully they knock their shots down and can contribute more on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I do see that happening. Them getting a more open role offensively, or more, free range. I mean,
yeah, Justin Holiday is he's had the 3-point shot hasn't fallen for him, and he generally likes to come off of screens and shoot relatively quickly. He likes that moving three at the top of the key. That's where a lot of his shots have come from throughout his career. So hopefully he'll start knocking down those shots. And as a going Cookie by nature here, he says his value on the defensive end is really important. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, it's a great point because, like Joshua keeps alluding to, it's the defense to offense, and that's how our offense is successful. Especially when Trae is off the floor, our offense with Dejounte in the bench unit has struggled a bit, scoring the ball, creating open looks. So those defensive guys are going to be really important, and hopefully Onyeka can play better. It hasn't been the strongest start to the season for Okongwu. He's gotten into foul trouble again. Hasn't played. He's gotten Jalen Duren has probably outplayed him. Nick Richards really outplayed him in that Hornets game. He destroyed us in the paint. So hopefully Onyeka can start to play better as well. What have you seen from him early in the season?
I've seen glimpses of what he can be. Catching the ball, one bounce to the dribble, drop step, hitting a dunk. But I've also seen it to where it's just like he's looking overmatched. And, really, his size already plays the factor of being 6'9". So trying to play inside and, being a big man in the paint, you have people that are point guards and shooting guards that are 6'9" nowadays. So just has to, it's more about the heart and more about, actually getting more stronger and actually boxing out. Just play your role. Don't try and do more than what's being asked of you. Don't try and do, anything that's out your element of what, folk have already started to like about you. So once you start to reach outside of things that you don't usually do, that's when you start to wear yourself thin and they're going to start to pick them apart. So like I said, I've seen glimpses of what he can be, but it has been a lot of overmatched things going on in the paint when Capella's not on the floor or JC's not on the floor to help him out.
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do agree. But what has been definitely a positive for Onyeka, he's taking mid ranges with no hesitation. If he's left open, he's taking them, and he's made most of them this year. So That's great to see him developing a jump shot. And we got Cookie saying, hopefully Bojan ain't Steph tonight. I mean, he's shooting over 50%, like I said earlier, for the year. So we've gotta keep track on him. He's one of the best in the league at moving off ball. He's nowhere near Steph, obviously, but he's a really good guy to have your defense focused on him while they be doing something else and create misdirection. So we've really got to, as to quote Lloyd Pierce, we really got to feel him. We've got to make sure he knows where we're at on defense at all times.
Yeah.
We got to make our presence felt on that end for sure. As of right now, Jaden Ivey is still questionable for tonight. So we don't know whether he's playing, but if he does play, I definitely think that changes the game a lot. Trey Young is going to be tough for Trey Young to match up on somebody. We don't really know who we would put on Trae at that point. So what do you think we would do in terms of matching Trae up if Jaden Ivey plays?
I'm thinking that we go with the lineup that you said. Yeah, I would definitely rather have somebody that is, running around because Trae can run around with him instead of somebody that's going to drive to the paint and take him to the hole like Cade Cunningham would, like Ivey would. They're definitely quick first step guys, and Trae's not to that point yet where he's going to be able to, stay in front. So having him on Bogdanovich, yes, it's size advantage, Pistons way, but Bogdanovich is not going to really go to the paint like that. You see what he's going to do.
Yeah, I
so
definitely
have somebody like that on him. Yeah.
And we actually some recent news just came out on Ivy. He participated in pregame shoot around and will likely be a game time decision. So we won't know until pretty much the end of the show if Jaden Ivey's going to play. So that'll definitely be a big factor. And I like this point by Cookie. I definitely would attack him if he does play. Trae, I would assume he's matched up. I would assume they match up Trae with him unless they put Cade on Trae. But last time they had Cade on Dejounte, so it'll be definitely interesting to see what the Pistons do. But taking Ivy, especially if he plays at that shooting guard position into the post and into the paint, is a good idea. I like Dejounte. Taking him in even in that mid post area, which we've seen, he's made a lot of shots in that mid range area. B-Ro says, "How many All Stars do you think the Hawks could have this year?" What do you think, Joshua?
3 in a possible, like some spades, but definitely Trae, Dejounte, and Collins if they keep playing the same way they're playing. DeAndre Hunter's not far behind. It's just the position that he's at. That 3 is real deep. So, he could be an alternate of, somebody getting an injury and he's filling in, but he has a possibility of making it as well. That's why I say 3 in a possible, but definitely for them, So he says 2 in a possible. 2, but possibly 3, yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, the way I definitely agree, Cookie, but the way that Trae and Dejounte are playing right now, they should be All-Stars. But JC has really been filling it up from 3, especially. Besides that one anomaly in the Hornets game where he shot 0 for 8 or 0 for 7 from 3. That's not going to happen again. JC's been a really good shooter this year, and before he got hurt, that boutonniere deformity in his finger, he was a much better shooter. So I'm not worried about JC in terms of shooting. I think it'll fall off a bit. I don't think he's going to be a high 40s or mid 40s 3-point shooter through the year, but that definitely high 30s is a possibility, and I think a likelihood in terms of how we started this season.
Yeah. It plays the fact also the way we're playing. Hawks keep winning, then they look more at those teams, which has nothing to do with how the person is playing, but you get more look and more recognition when your team is playing well. It just goes like that. So Hawks keep winning, then we'll start getting more votes and more guys looking our way and things like that. So, yeah. 2 definitely, possibly 3 possibly 4. I keep the optimism.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see DeAndre Hunter make an All-Star game. I don't think it'll happen this year, especially, but he started off the season decently. I mean, he had a cool 17 points last night, and that's all we're asking Dre to do. Play that great defense we know he brings every night, and that 15 to 18 point range on efficient shooting, a couple threes. That's what we're asking Dre to do, and he's done that for most of the season, or for half the season. He's had 2 good games and then 2 relatively subpar games, but he's shooting well so far. So that's encouraging to see. Another thing I really think that it is key why it's so important we win tonight is the schedule coming up for the Hawks.
Man,
the upcoming schedule for the Hawks, if we look at it here, it looks pretty daunting. So if we look at it here, we've got the Pistons tonight in the top left. Then we've got the Bucks, the Raptors, the Knicks, which we should win that Knicks game. Pelicans are a tough out. Bucks again. Jazz, hopefully we win that game. 76ers, Bucks, Hawks, Raptors, and then if we take away the banner here, we can see that we place the Cavs on the road. So in that second stretch, we face the Bucks, the Celtics, the Hawks, and the Cavs all on the road. So this November to Thanksgiving schedule, this beginning of November to Thanksgiving schedule is going to be really daunting, and we've got to see the Hawks step up. And they've had these first 4 games in terms of the Pistons sub 500 team, Rockets sub 500 team, Hornets going to be a sub 500 team too. So we've seen the Hawks do some good things against the teams they should win, except for the Hornets game, but that was an anomaly. Hopefully we can start the season off 4-1 because it's only going to get tougher from here.
Definitely. And like we talked about, you know how it goes in Toronto. It's always some jump. Some player just out the blue goes off. What other games we have? The Bucks are the Bucks. 76ers can be, beaten with an all-around good team play. I know we'll be better at home than we would be on the road against them. That Celtics game, last year we won both the Celtics games here and lost both on the road. So I'm glad that's here. But we know how it goes in Cleveland too. So, like you said, real tough schedule coming up with the next 12 games. So, man, just keep it. I have no words that I can really put into how we can approach it. Just ride the momentum of if you start to catch a little streak, then keep that going and whatever you did against that team previously, because we played the Bucks 3 times in a 2-week period. So it's good to get them knocked off early, but at the same time, it's like I started look at it like that's crazy for it to be that close together and being, playing the same team.
Especially because the Bucks are without Middleton too.
Oh, okay.
Middleton is out for the first couple months, I believe, for the first month, I think it is. So the Hawks definitely catch a break by catching Milwaukee early. And another tough another tough part about this is just in terms of that last schedule, the road, the Bucks on the road, Celtics on the road, the Raptors on the road, and the Cavs on the road. That's just going to be tough. There's no other really way to say that. So are those home games actually? No, those are those are home games. Or the Celtics and the Raptors are home games, but Hawks go on the road against the Cavs and on the road against the Bucks, 76ers. So, and we also have another one of those home and home series against the 76ers. So while it's not similar to where we play both games on the road, it's the Hawks are the 76ers will play the Hawks at home, and then we'll go on the road and play the 76ers 2 days later. So what do you think about that format that the league is they've made it it's been a more popular decision in terms of the schedule makers in the past few years. Do you like that aspect, Joshua? What do you think it brings?
I don't mind it. I think that what is that supposed to be getting rid of the back-to-backs, wasn't it? Or cutting down on them. So, I don't mind that type of format, playing home and home, home and home against the any opponent. So, it doesn't bother me. The back-to-backs are what, really kind of get me in basketball terms. But I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah, I like it. I think the way that it forces teams to adjust rapidly, especially because, for example, we got the game tonight. The Hawks aren't going to put the same defensive schemes they put on Bojan and Cade, especially in the first half. The second half, Cade only scored 4 points in the second half on Wednesday. So that was great to see that the adjustment worked. But he's going to have another adjustment for us. We're going to have to be ready for that adjustment tonight. So mainly it's Bojan that we really gotta tighten up. But I do like these. I think the home and home series really, or the back-to-backs in the same arena, definitely forces teams to make an adjustment on the fly, and especially early in the season, you're able to see kind of how you stack up against teams. Obviously, Detroit, we're looking to be way above Detroit in the standings when it's all said and done, but I do like the fact that you can kind of see what your team is like made of. If you're supposed to win these 2 games like the Hawks are, then they should win. If you're facing a team like the 76ers, the Raptors, the Cavs, the Bucks, the Nets, teams that you're going to be competitive with, I mean, those series it's going to be really entertaining to watch those 2 games. Also, the fact that you could see how you match up against that team if they're projected to be better in the standings. So I do like this aspect.
Yeah. B-Roll makes a good point right here, saying those games are going to be tough. It's going to challenge them physically and mentally. This is what it's supposed to do. If you're not being challenged, that's where you start to get complacent in any league. So definitely it raises your competitive level. So, we need those games early on and also throughout the season. So I kind of like a schedule that's definitely balanced, like I was just saying about, it's going to be a tough part of the schedule. So you don't want it tough in November, tough in December. When you get to February, March, and April, then you cruise. You want to cruise into the playoffs, but that also is not. You need something to get your competitive juices flowing into the playoffs. So that way you keep that momentum. That way you keep that, that type of flow going, and you don't just, think that you're going to glide right through the first round, glide right through the second round. It doesn't work like that. Not in the pros. So definitely, yes, it's going to challenge us. We need that challenge, and you can see where your team stands when you get to those type of games, how we match up against them. Also, to refer back to your other comment previously when you said, where do we see the Hawks going? Hypothetically, we've spoken on that before. 4 seed at the lowest, in our opinion, that we've talked about.
Yeah.
We
pretty much
play the way we can play, then definitely top 4 seed.
Sorry, we've played. Yeah, most of us on this show here are pretty much around the 4 seed. I think if we struggle a bit, we could drop down to that 5 seed. But I definitely see us as a playoff team. I think if we're in the play-in, it's bad. It's a bad look. That's really not what we want to see. So I definitely do think the 4 seed is possible, and I think we can make a deep run in the playoffs depending on matchups. I mean, that's what the NBA is. It's really all about matchups in the playoffs. The MLB format's a bit different. You see the Phillies going to the World Series. I mean, you get hot in the playoffs in the MLB. It can really ride you all. It can really help you all the way to the title like we did last year, and the Phillies perhaps could do it this year. So we really, in the NBA, it's much different because you could be playing well up and towards the end of the season. You could be blowing out the teams you're supposed to be. You're competitive in the games that you're supposed to be, and you're winning those tight games, those 1 to 2 possession games. But if you match up, say, against the Bucks, for example, we've played the Bucks well, but actually that's not a bad example because we match up against the Bucks pretty well. If, say, the Celtics, for example, where Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they have a really deep squad with Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench, with Grant Williams coming off the bench. Robert Williams will become healthy. Al Horford will be on the bench then. They've got a really deep squad, and while our bench depth will hurt with the Herter trade, that might be a bad matchup for us, even if we're going well throughout the majority of the season. So those matchups and seedings for the playoffs will be crucial in for the Hawks' success in the postseason.
Yeah, like you said, it's about matchups and it's about how healthy your team is going into it. So,
that's a good point too. Yeah, health.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get Bogdanovich back, man. I think he's the third. No, I think he's the fourth or third most important player for this team. That bench shooting and bench shot creation is really needed, especially when we have Dejounte on the floor. So hopefully we get him back sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts on the Hawks before we move to a little segment about the Braves?
Yeah, we said all we can.
Hopefully we get this, come away with the W tonight. Hold Bogdanovich a little bit more, and we see Dejounte have a better game. Those would be my 2 points that I want to see happen tonight. But let's get into this Atlanta Braves talk. We've seen that with the World Series starting tonight, Spencer Strider, we saw this yesterday, I believe. Spencer Strider was named the Sporting News NL Rookie of the Year. And now there was a lot of questions on Twitter, and this is not the official Rookie of the Year for the MLB. Michael Harris, Spencer Strider, and Brendan Donovan of the Cardinals. It's realistically, like, come on, guys. We know it's between Spencer Strider and Michael Harris, but though that is the real race for the official Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, congrats to Spencer Strider on an amazing season. Obviously, didn't have the end to the season that he wanted when he got hurt and didn't look healthy in that start against the Phillies. But really, just a unprecedented season for Strider in many ways. Getting the strikeout record, getting into the top 10 in that NL strikeouts, despite like all the way less innings he pitched compared to the top guys on that list. So, congrats to Spencer Strider for an amazing season, and I really hope he can continue what he did in this year into next year.
Definitely gonna add on to what he brought this season. Probably get a little stronger. Got to get that oblique muscle back right because that's an essential part in pitching. Definitely in the pros, what you're using the most and what's going to take the most brunt. That's what you see. Most of the injuries come from either oblique or arm. It's one of the two. Rarely have a leg injury, but they are there. So they said great season. I couldn't ask of any more. He actually exceeded my expectations from what I saw from the end of last season when the rosters expanded up until the World Series when he had a little spot appearance out of the bullpen. I did not see him being our fourth or fifth starter this year and producing the way he did. So as long as he keeps doing that and moves on up, like I said, it's basically just helping us, not hurting us. So definitely congrats to him. Happy birthday to him. Saw that. You on mute, Mike.
And we just got news actually that Jaden Ivey will be playing tonight. He will be active and in the starting lineup. So going to be interesting to see what the Hawks do there. Sorry to interrupt right there. Want to get that news out.
You're good. Yeah. So, so definitely going to be the lineup that we were talking about. The way I would think it should be. Have Trae on Bogdanovich. But yeah, like we were saying, Spencer Strider did what he needed to do. Like I said, congrats to him, happy birthday to him, and press forward towards next season. Get stronger, get better, get ready for spring training.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to be important, especially for Strider for that oblique because that's where a lot of his velocity comes to. He's not like this big, strong, bulky guy. The lower body strength that Strider has is insane. That's where he gets the bulk of his velocity. So that really needs to be as healthy as possible for him to have the results that we want to see as well as that he wants to see as well. But Drew says here as far as the Hawks, if we fall behind, keep Capella in. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully Onyeka can do a better job on Duran tonight. For Strider next year, what do you think about him developing? If I know a third pitch, he's sprinkled in the changeup here and there, but I think that next stage in his development is developing that changeup a bit more so that it's more consistent. What did you see from it this year, and what do you want to see in terms of an adjustment for next year?
Definitely might be something to think about. As Michael Harris, said in one of his interviews that, he's like a young DeGrom. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying that it's an outlandish statement. He's a two-pitch pitcher just the same way. Now, DeGrom tried to develop a changeup. He tried to do it during the season and during a pennant race. You don't do that then, especially when it's not one of your dominant pitches. So the best part about it is Strider being young and, us going to the offseason. Try it in spring training. Your ERA in spring training doesn't matter. That's not going to get you – it's not going to get him cut if you are trying to actually still make the team. But try and develop a third pitch and things like that. You try that in games that don't matter, worth anything. That's where you getting healthy, you're getting your reps back in, you're doing all that. You're getting back in the flow of things. So do try it during spring training in your first 2-3 starts. And, make that your secondary pitch behind your slot. We know that slider works. We know the fastball works. So fastball changeup in the spring. See how that goes. See, what you and Rick Kranitz come up with. And, yeah, that's when you develop it. So, yeah either that or go with the changeup. I was going to say, you can try curve or what. Stick with the changeup. Whatever you've tried to start developing, go ahead, go with it.
Yeah, I definitely like the points you made about spring training, because especially how well he did this year, he's going to make the team. He's going to make the team. And it's just a matter of, can he sustain that, what he did this year? And to do that, I do think he's going to get to have a third pitch because teams are going to be able to adjust his fastball eventually. I know that, there's the crowd of people that say, Spencer Strider's fastball is unhittable. This is going to be his whole career. It's not going to last that long. He's really deceptive in his delivery with how he extends so far to the plate. I remember in the start against the Phillies, John Smoltz was talking about how he extends 7 feet from the rubber with his extension of his arm to home plate, and that just the fastball jumps on the hitter so much, and that's what causes them to be late. Eventually, they're gonna be able to figure out that timing, but that's why that changeup and that slider need to be there developed to get the hitters off the fastball. So I really think that it's definitely a key for Strider this offseason.
Yeah. You definitely already only have, 0.3 of a second to react. So striding 7 feet, that means you cut it down from 60 feet down to 53, 52. It almost looks like the ball is being let go right in front of your face, coming from, us that have played baseball before. You already know how hard it is to hit a baseball.
Yep.
And he throws 100. So, definitely something crazy. But, yeah, sprinkle a third pitch in there, and, man, it's going to be even more incredible to see.
Yeah, I can't wait for what he does for over a full season, hopefully next year. Because, I mean, he would be racking up the strikeouts this year. Imagine what he'll do over a full season. I mean, it could be history there. Like, he was striking out guys at an unreal rate. It was awesome to see. And then I briefly wanted to touch on this. Mark Bowman, the Braves beat writer for MLB.com, and if you don't follow him, definitely do follow him. He's a great follow. He writes recaps after all the games. So anybody in the comments says definitely go over make sure to give Bowman a follow. But he had reported that the Braves at the trade deadline unsuccessfully tried to trade Marcell Ozuna to the Nationals for Patrick Corbin at the trade deadline. And why do you think this didn't go through? And would you have wanted it to go through in hindsight?
Why it didn't go through, I say the main reason is because we're in the same division. That's one of the main reasons. Other than that, because what I also read is that we were going to take on Corbin's money, and Corbin getting paid just as much, if not more, than Ozuna is.
More.
Yeah, so why would you not do that? To have you a hitter when the Nationals needed hitters because they don't have anybody left. Soto, no Bell, you have nobody left. Victor Robles is the only player left from your World Series team, and who else do you have? Aside from probably Keibert Ruiz, who's still young. But so you would need another hitter. I mean, Ozuna was horrible from the plate, but still had 21 home runs. Still can touch the ball and get hot when he wants to and when he's consistent. But like I said, the main reason probably why it didn't happen, like I said, we're in the same division, and all Corbin needs, just like probably all DeGrom needs, is confidence in run support.
That's true.
Even though so that's probably the main reason why it didn't go through. In hindsight, I mean, Ozuna's not going to play out this contract. Don't know what we're going to do in the offseason or when we're going to get rid of him, but it's inevitable that it's going to happen. I thought it was going to happen right after the arrest, but we finished the season out, and he's still actually on the roster, so we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, Ozuna, for all and rightfully so, for all the hate he got, he played well at the end of the season, at the end of the regular season. I mean, he seemed after the arrest, he picked it up. Hopefully, that's a sign of things to come. But I really don't think that you can bring Ozuna back. I agree. As far as this trade, Patrick Corbin, I think would have been a good addition to our pitching staff, especially as that fifth starter. He obviously really struggled this year. I mean, he had started off the season allowing with a 7 ERA. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. But
he was better in the second half, and as well, he didn't get any run support. You got to keep that in mind too. So I like the fact that you brought that up. It would probably have helped us, but that contract would have been bad. It's both contracts are bad. Alex Anthopoulos is one of the moves that. Oh, the Ozuna extension was one of the moves that, or not extension, the Ozuna free agency contract, the second one, was just a move that didn't work out. One of the few moves that AA has made that hasn't worked out. So hopefully we can see what Ozuna is going to either bring us if we trade him, or if we keep him. Let's see what type of production he can get, because I don't think we can go into the season with him, and if not, we need a left fielder. I don't think we can start Vaughn in left field to start the season. I would like to see him get some reps in there, especially in spring training. I think we'll see that in spring training, Vaughn Grissom getting some starts in left field. But I hope that the Braves go after a left fielder, a bullpen arm, left-handed bullpen arm, especially with Maggiet going down, and a starter, back-end starter. Those are my three key acquisitions for the Braves this offseason. What about you?
Hit it right on the head. We already talked about that. Hit it right on the head. I actually have to look at the list to see what is what, but those are the essential pieces that we need.
Yeah, people are talking about Andrew Benintendi as possibly a target in left field, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. Benintendi, he didn't have a great offensive season last year, but he's a good defender, and he's had that deep playoff experience with the Red Sox. So I definitely could see Benintendi helping us for sure on the field and with the bat.
Yeah, or you can bring Jock back. No.
Yeah, dude. Jock, hey, it'd be awesome if Jock came back too. I mean, it can happen. Everybody, we just bring back Duvall, we bring back Jock Peterson, get the gang back together. We already got Rosario. Speaking of Rosario, he's got to step up. He
definitely has to. And so Laird's contract was kind of like Correa's. It was 3 years, but it's opt out after year one. So if he wants to opt out, he can. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he was really just acting like he was hurt on the Marlins. He don't want to play. He ain't really hurt.
That was nuts.
But yeah,
he was out for so long.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's just the take on everything. So man,
but that's a segment on the Braves. Do you have any final thoughts on the Braves or any last few thoughts on the Hawks here before we wrap it up?
The Hawks, like I said, just need to do what we did Wednesday. Start off a little bit faster and, stay strong towards the end. As far as the Braves, right now we've been consistent. Gonna get this division win. We need to figure out what's going to take us to consistently get past the first round and consistently get to the World Series like the Astros have done. So once you start doing that, it's just, it's looking promising that way for us to even be in this position. So I said, once we do that to get to where they are, we can start bringing home, back-to-backs or 2 out of every 3, 3 out of every 6, however many we're going to do.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see us doing that as well.
So,
and Sonia asked, do we still have Adam Duvall? Yes, we do. He, unfortunately, had to have wrist surgery, which kept him out at the beginning of the season, which kept him out pretty much the entire season. Since May, I believe, or was it June? Since May or June, he was out.
Yeah, I think it was like whenever they called up Michael Harris, so that was Memorial Day weekend, so May.
Okay, so since the beginning of June or since the end of May, that's when Adam Duvall has been out. But So without further ado, let's get this Hawks dub tonight. Hopefully we can not allow Cade and Bogdanovich to have a great night. Easy, relaxed win by 30. Hopefully tonight, our defense we know is going to be great. So hopefully our offense and Dejounte and the Holiday brothers can knock down some shots for the Braves. We'll see what we do in the offseason. Like I said, congrats to Spencer Strider again. Happy birthday. And those three guys, that bullpen, lefty arm out of the bullpen, starter, back-end starter, and then a left fielder are our 3 go-to guys for our 3 guys to go get for Alex Anthopoulos this offseason. But what were you gonna say, Joshua?
I was gonna say that's all contingent on how the Dansby signing go. But yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yes, the Dansby signing. I didn't want to get into that because it was gonna be a long conversation. But the Dansby signing is super important. Hopefully he comes back. We really need Dansby, especially as the captain of this team. But with that, we're probably gonna end the show right there. If you want to tell how they can how people can look at your content, you got it.
Yeah, man. Roundtable Sports on all platforms, on IG, RTS Sports 2 on IG and Twitter. Like I said, jump in the DMs. We can talk, whatever like that. Chop it up. I'm always, checking my phone and like friendly banner.
And you can follow me on Twitter, PinWizard300, and on YouTube, recapping Hawks hoops. I haven't uploaded a recap yet this year. I've been a little under the weather. It's been complicated situation. But we were going to get that going as soon as possible. So be sure to check out those recaps. And as we see, BlackBerry home team, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Represent all Atlanta sports here on Georgia Sports Nation. So hopefully Hawks get that dub tonight, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, man. Bye.